In the beginning of the story, we are shown a park which was closed years ago. Then a dark room where there was a security guard who was very scared. He often took care of that park at night. There he was feeling some strange things in the recording of the camera. That's why he starts going out of the vent of the room due to fear. Things were falling from behind him, which scared the security guard even more. He now comes out of the vent of the room, but a strange shadow was still behind him. Some strange force had tied the security guard, and in front of him was a drowning-looking machine. The security guard tries to run away, but he can't. That machine had killed him. Now we see a boy named Mike who lives with his younger sister. His parents were not there. Mike takes a lot of care of his younger sister Abby. He had a little problem with Abby because she was not like other children. She didn't listen to Mike. Even today, Mike tells Abby, "Please get ready for school. I have to go to work." But Abby doesn't listen to him. Anyway, Mike had come to work. He used to work as a security guard in a mall where he shows a book to his colleague. He says, "I read it often. This book connects us to our dreams. We can go into our dreams and find out what our dreams are." Now Mike is shown to a counselor who tells Mike that because of your behavior, you have been fired from many jobs. Let me tell you about a job, which is in an amusement park. There you have to work as a night security guard. That park has been closed for many years. That's why no one comes and goes there. Just the owner wants to keep it safe. So you just have to keep in mind that there is no mirror there and you can't go in. Mike refuses to work because he had a little sister Abby in his house whom he could not leave alone at night. But while going, the counselor gives him his card. The same night when Mike comes home, there was a babysitter at his house. That girl, Mike, used to take care of Abby when he was outside the house. She says that Abby has not eaten yet. Mike goes to Abby, who was still busy and refuses to eat food. The next day, Mike takes Abby to the doctor, where his aunt was also there. She claims that Mike can't take good care of his sister Abby, and he is always in sleep. Abby is also busy drawing all the time. I am afraid that Abby may have some mental problem. That's why I want to keep Abby with me. But the doctor explains to him and says, "See, Abby is absolutely fine, and maybe she wants to stay with her brother." After hearing this, Mike's aunt got angry. She gives Mike a court paper and says that, "If you don't send Abby to me yourself, I will file a case against you." Saying this, she left from there. Now Mike tells the doctor that my aunt is not worried about Abby. She is just doing all this for money. I don't even have a job. But then I think I should send Abby to my aunt. Then the doctor says, "No one can take better care of your sister than you, so just find a good job." Now when Mike was sleeping at night, he sees a picture in front of him, which was of the jungle. He fell asleep while looking at it and finds himself in the same jungle in his dream. When he was young, he went on a holiday with his mom, dad, and younger brother. Everyone was very happy. But then suddenly a stranger came there who took Mike's younger brother in his car. With this, Mike also wakes up from sleep. Now he calls the counselor. He had no other option but to work as a night security guard. That's why he said yes to the job. The counselor is also very happy, and now he gives him all the information about the same park, which was called Freddy Fazebears. He says that a few years ago, this park was very famous among children. It was very popular, but because of an accident, it was closed. Cameras are also installed in the park. You just have to keep in mind that there is no entry in the park. Now Mike comes to the park and starts looking at things there, in which he finds an old videotape. When he runs it, it was told about the park, that the park was made very well in its time. Many games, animal reports, that is, reports of animal faces, which could also talk to humans. They were controlled by special technology. Now when something was going to be told in that video, the videotape stops. Mike was scared to see this. It was 3 o'clock in the night. Mike sits down, puts his head on the table, and goes to sleep. And again, he was lost in his dream, where this time he sees his brother being kidnapped, so he sees 5 children behind him. Mike asks those children, "Did you see the man who was kidnapping my brother?" But the children do not answer, and they start going from there. Mike was also running after them. In this, Mike wakes up from the dream. His eyes were open. It happens in the morning. Mike had come home after completing the night's duty, where he tells Abby's babysitter, "Don't worry, I'll pay you soon." The babysitter says, "It's okay. I like taking care of Abby anyway." Saying this, she leaves. The babysitter now comes to a hotel to meet Mike's aunt. Her brother was also with her. In fact, this babysitter was sent by Mike's aunt to keep an eye on him so that they find out about Mike's weakness and prove it in court and take Abby's custody. But the babysitter tells her Mike is a very good person and he takes very good care of his sister. But yes, I think Mike has some kind of insomnia. He sleeps a lot with medicine. Here the babysitter's brother says, "A few days ago, Mike had a job as a security guard in a park. If we go there and break it, the owner there will fire him. and then it will be proven. In the court, Mike is of no use, so you will get Abby's custody. Aunt likes this plan very much. In return, she also promises to give money to her aunt. On the other hand, Mike goes to the park again at night, and again he fell asleep while guarding and reaches his dream. He again sees 5 children and asks, "Did you see my brother?" But the children do not answer this time and disappear and start hurting Mike. A child comes in front of Mike, whose eyes were black. Mike was scared to see this, and his eyes open. Mike sees in the world that someone has rang the security alarm from outside. When he goes and sees, there was a police officer there who tells her name is Vanessa. She often used to come to check this time at night. She looks at Mike's wound and asks, "Were you not sleeping during duty?" But what is this? The wound was in Mike's dream. So how was he actually injured? And did Vanessa know everything about this? Which we will find out in the story ahead. Anyway, Vanessa comes in. She tells, "Do you know? No security guard can stay in this park for long. I have heard that there are strange incidents here. Many years ago, some children were kidnapped here, but nothing was found on the investigation. That's why the park was closed." Vanessa shows Mike a button in the park, where some animal robots, in which beer, bear, bunny, chicken, everyone was playing music. Mike is very surprised to see everything. It was morning by then. Vanessa goes and tells Mike, "Don't try to know the park matters in depth. Just keep your work to yourself. Focus on your duty." Saying this, she leaves from there. Mike had also come to his house. In the back park, the brother of the babysitter was going there with some goons. Then the animal robots who were in the park themselves become alive and killed everyone very mercilessly. Beer bites the babysitter's brother there. Wasn't it a little strange? When the babysitter wants to find her brother, someone had also killed him. Why was this happening? Now Vanessa comes to Mike's house and tells that some people tried to break in the park, and from there we have got this medicine for your sleep. Will you tell everything yourself, or should I go to the police and report you? Mike now tells Vanessa about himself, that once me and my mom, dad, my younger brother went to the jungle to spend the holidays. Where my brother was kidnapped, my mom and dad also died. I and Abby now live alone, but I think I had seen that kidnapper. But the sorrow of losing my brother made me forget the face of that kidnapper. That's why I take sleep medicine, so that I can remember that incident and go to sleep and see the face of that kidnapper in my dream. After hearing this, Vanessa lets him go. But she had thrown away her sleep medicine so that he could not sleep at all after taking the medicine in the park. Vanessa knew something, but she was not telling anything to Mike. The next night, when Mike starts going to his duty, he calls the babysitter again and again so that he comes to Abby. But Mike did not know that the babysitter had died. Then he brings Abby with him. After reaching the park, he first cleans up and then makes a tent for Abby and puts her to sleep in his office, saying that he does not want to go out of here, and goes to sleep himself. Then Abby hears a scream. She was trying to pick up Mike, but he was in deep sleep after taking the medicine. Abby goes out and sees there are animal robots in front of her who are also talking to him. There Mike was lost in his dream, where he sees a child again. He asks him that you are one of those children who had disappeared in this park, and you have also seen the kidnapper. He says that if I tell you about the kidnapper, then what will you give me in return? Then Abby hears a scream. Actually, Mike had opened his eyes that it was Abby's. But before waking up from the dream, Mike saw that the child had gone by making a picture of a rabbit. After waking up, Mike sees that Abby is not on his bed. When he runs out, he sees that Abby is surrounded by animal robots, and the scream he heard was also Abby's. He thinks that the robots are killing Abby, so he picks up a chair to kill them. Then he sees that those robots were talking to Abby and were also answering her every question. At first, Mike thinks that someone is controlling him from outside, but it was not so. All this was happening for real. By this time, it was morning. Mike had come home with Abby and puts her to sleep. Then he sees the drawing made by Abby. He was surprised to see that Abby had made a similar drawing. So after Abby woke up, Mike asks her about all this. She says, "My friends showed me this scene. The girl you met in your dream last night, I also met her. The dream was of Mike. So how did Abby know about all this?" He asks Abby, "Did she tell you about a kidnapper?" Abby says, "She didn't say anything like that. She was just talking about a yellow rabbit." Now at night, Vanessa is seen in in the same park. She saw a drawing on it. There was a yellow rabbit and 5 children with it. In the meantime, Mike also comes there with Abby. Abby immediately went to play with her friends. Vanessa is very happy to see her. She was not surprised at all. Maybe she already knew about all this. She tells Mike that the souls of the missing children run these robots. Now finally, Mike gets tired and asks Vanessa, "What's going on here?" But Vanessa says, "Mike, you should never have put Abby here." Mike says, "There is something strange in this park. I feel like I'm very close to my brother's kidnapper by coming here." Hearing this, Vanessa says, "This is your best. Stay away from everyone." Then Mike's eyes fall on a machine lying in the corner, which looked like a uniform. It felt like someone could wear the machine. Mike asks Vanessa about all this, but she again refuses to tell him anything. She just tells him to stay away from this machine. It can cause harm. To show this, when she throws a stick at him, the machine immediately breaks it into pieces. Now, these two had come out. Abby was still playing with those robots. While playing, her hand hits Bunny's guitar, due to which there was an electric shock, and she fainted. When she regains consciousness, Mike starts taking her home. She tells Mike, "Please don't bring Abby here anymore, or it can be worse than this." Mike was also scared of all this, so the next day, he calls his aunt to take care of Abby at home, and he himself came to the park for night duty, and after taking the medicine, he goes to sleep again to go to his dream. This time, his dream had changed. He sees his mom, dad, and his brother in front of him, who was absolutely fine and was talking to him. Then he sees that there were 5 children behind him, the same children that he had seen in his first dream. The child says, "I know what you want. You want to bring your past back, don't you? You want to bring your mom, dad, and your brother back to life. It can happen. Just give us Abby in return." His mom and dad were also saying the same thing this time. But suddenly Mike says, "No, all this is a vision. My mom, dad, my brother is dead. No one can bring them back." When he refuses to give them Abby, everything around him disappears. Children attack him. They were hurting him. Suddenly Mike wakes up from his dream. He sees in the real world, someone has tied him up and made him sit. This place was a storeroom, the same room that we saw in the beginning of the story. He sees that there is a babysitter, and the corpses of many people are lying there. That dangerous machine was now going to kill Mike too, but somehow he gets himself released and runs away from there. On the other side, Abby is in a house, and Mike's dreamy child comes to her. He attacked Aunt and made her unconscious. He comes and tells Abby, "Come with us, your aunt is sleeping." Abby was also ready to go with him. There Mike was with Vanessa, who tells her that he was injured outside the park. Mike now asks Vanessa, "Please tell me what is going on. Who are these souls who want to take Abby with them?" Here, Vanessa tells the whole truth. She says that this park is actually my dad's. Yellow Rabbit was none other than Vanessa's dad, who wore a rabbit dress and played with children. She says that my dad was a very bad person. He imprisoned the children here in the park and killed them and imprisoned their souls in these reports. Now the souls of those children have also become bad souls. She also wants to make Abby like her. I already knew the whole truth, but I never told about this. She now gives Mike some weapons with the help of which he could fight those animal reports in which the souls of the children were. Mike, who tells Vanessa to come with him, she refuses and says, "No, I can't come with you because I go there and get in control of my dad's strange power." Abby, who had reached the park, was showing her animal report there. One of these reports takes Abby with him. Mike also came in through the vent. He gives some reports, electric shocks. There, the report that took Abby with him was going to put Abby in that dangerous snake machine. Then Mike comes there, who came and saved Abby at the right time and apologizes to him that he will never leave her alone again. Then we see the yellow rabbit, which was very big in size. Actually, this man was Vanessa's dad, who was still alive and controlled the souls of the children. And he was no one else but the same counselor who gave Mike a job here. The counselor, who was wearing a rabbit mask, was still provoking the souls of the children to kill Mike, who was trapped in the animal reports. He says to Mike that, "Yes, I had kidnapped your brother and killed him. Now I will kill you the same way." But then Vanessa comes there, who came and saved Abby and tells her dad to stop there and says, "No, Dad, now I will not let you do anything wrong." Here the right story comes out, that it was Vanessa who was supporting her dad in everything. Her dad used to kill people, and Vanessa used to hide this truth. Now, when Vanessa had gunned down her dad, but her dad also kills him, Mike, who was injured, tells Abby that your friends walk on the signs of this man. Explain to them that this man had killed them, and until now he has been controlling their souls and doing wrong things. You can explain to them. Hearing this, Abby now makes a drawing and puts it on a wall. In it, Abby made that there is a yellow rabbit, and he is killing innocent children. Seeing this drawing, the souls of those children remember everything. All the souls had attacked Vanessa's dad and dragged him with them. Mike also brought Abby and the injured Vanessa out. Mike was happy in his life. Abby had also changed her habits. Vanessa, who was admitted to the hospital, was now in a coma and was about to recover soon. We are shown the park again, where Vanessa's dad was injured and was in a coma. He has the soul of the same child who had spoken to Mike and Abby. In the same condition, the child locks Vanessa's dad in that dark room. Outside, we see a taxi driver who had a toy that suddenly comes alive, and with it, the story of this film ends here.